Today is the big day, y'all. You know, day 5 in Qatar, and you know, just got back from the beach. But today's the big day, the opening of the World Cup. That's why most people are here. That's why I'm here. And yeah, I got my thobe styled from I gotta get the name of her, but you know, a Qatari stylist, and she hooked me up. My thobe is fire. If you don't know what a thobe is, it's the traditional wear of the Qatari people. You probably would know if I put a picture of it up. I'll probably put a picture of it up, but yeah, my thobe is fire. So I'm excited to put that on. And yeah, so let's just get to it. I'll see y'all when I'm putting my thobe on, and I'll see y'all at the stadium. So peace.
満開千本桜影よし
God, superhero. It's that time, man. In the stadium, about to go to the skybox, about to be active. First game of the World Cup. Yellow of Qatar.
No more shows, no MTV. So you won't step back after you leave. That's where you won't go after you came with me. I done seen it all for my 2022. I can teach you on the phone if you just let a nigga do. We need some eyes for the show.
So we got a bag here.
Tell me what you want.
You got the little doll. I like it. Looks like a towel or scarf.
Don't let your attitude.
I don't know what it is, but it looks nice. Let's see. Another scarf or a shirt?
Flawless, lawless, baby, what you call this? If this shit don't involve money, I'm off it. I can be your role model. Jimi Hendrix. Before we end it.
بدءا من هذا المساء وطوال 28 يوما سوف نتابع ومعنا العالم بأسره.
gotta guess. What's one thing you think the Western world or the rest of the world should know about Qatar?
The way Qatar approach things is very unique in this part of the world. Their approach to politics, their approach to society, their approach to international diplomacy, it's really, really unique. There was a time in Qatar when people who were exiled from all kinds of places in the world were welcome in Qatar. So you would come here and you see exiles from Iraq and from Libya and from Syria and from the US that are not allowed to be in those countries, and Qatar opened up to them and allowed them to come in, which created a really interesting dynamic here, right? And then you have Al Jazeera, which is like the first Arabic news channel. So it created this kind of dialogue that you've never had in the Arab world before, because anywhere else in the Arabic countries, some of these people are terrified to speak about politics because the government will lock them up and disappear them, basically. So Qatar is really different like that.
You think people have misguided ideas about Qatar? Or?
Oh, very much so. Not just misguided ideas, I think it's just pure ignorance, to be honest with you. People are just ignorant of what Qatar is and what Qatar is about.
What do you think is one of the most misguided things or ignorant things people?
Well, I mean, you hear it in the news all the time, right? LGBT issues, workers' rights, women being oppressed, like absolutely unfounded, like genuinely unfounded. I mean, my wife is a white English lady who's been living here for 20 years, never once felt threatened or oppressed or nothing like that at all. Actually, I've never seen anybody oppressed here, no matter where they're from, whether religious or political views or otherwise. And so I just think it's ignorance, and it's very frustrating, to be honest with you, to see the media reports, because I'm here on the ground and I know it's not true. So I think people need to come see it for themselves, and those that have genuinely go away with a much better understanding.
What's one thing you think the Western world and the rest of the world should know about Qatar?
That simply put, don't believe everything you read, don't believe everything you see. This is a place filled with incredible people in an incredible culture, and it's worth opening up one's eyes and experiencing the truth and not somebody's opinion.
Yeah.
One thing they should know.
Or one misconception or misguided thing that you think people have about Qatar?
About Qatar. People are free. We are free. We're not all oppressed, and you can't do this and you can't do that. You can't wear this, you can't say this, you can't say that. That's we are free people.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. It's a huge misconception, and people are happy. Not only happy, but like there's a sense of liberty. I don't know, self freedom, independence. I would say in the Arab man, and the Qatari man, and any man in the Middle East. I would say. I always go back and forth between Arab and Qatar. For me, they're interchangeable. They're one and the same. But yeah, we are free. We're not. It's safe. You can go outside. You can be whoever you want. You can do whatever you want within context. But It's not, oh, you can't do this is wrong, this is against our religion, this is no, you'll go to jail, you can't hold hands, you can't be gay, you can't do this. It's nonsense.
Yeah.
What's one thing you think the Western world and the rest of the world should know about Qatar? Or like a misconception you think that they may have about Qatar?
Listen, that's a good question, but in order for me to answer that question, I would have to have a conception of what their misconceptions are. I don't know what their misconceptions are. I just hear what I hear in the news. So I'm not going to answer that question because that would mean that I bring into reality their misconceptions. I believe the majority of people and the right people know the right things about Qatar. And if you don't, just come and visit.
Okay, well, what's one thing you think is important to know about Qatar?
We respect everybody's rights and standards of living and standards of, as a human being without going into too much detail. Literally everybody's welcome into Qatar.
What's one thing you think the Western world and the rest of the world should know about Qatar?
I mean, it's a hard question because whatever you want to know about Qatar is the same, and it's part of why we feel the burden of the World Cup and why we're very responsible for it, is that today Qatar doesn't represent itself only. The Arab region is one of the same. We're all the same in this region, and we're a small piece of this region. So I think it's important for the world to know me as a Qatari is to know me as an Arab, as we all have a similar culture. To get to know who we are, what are our beliefs, what are our aspirations in life. And even though we may be different in certain set of beliefs, that doesn't mean we can't, coexist, be together, and learn from each other, because we can definitely benefit from each other in different ways, because that's how cultures work. And I think there are so many little traits of that we have here in our culture that I think anyone from the West would be very interested in. It's mainly the hospitality. It's something that exists with us. When you're here, you become, you'll be welcomed as if you were at your home, just for the fact of you being a stranger to this town. So whether you were invited or you were someone who traveled here, and you just got to fall into a conversation with a Qatari, you'll end up going to his home. You'll end up going to, hanging out with their friends. So I think that's one of the interesting things that the world should know about our culture.
Do you feel like the world has assumptions about Qatar that are just wrong or just they're misguided?
Misguided. I wouldn't say completely wrong, but misguided. Obviously, there's a lot in the press that use headlines that might be true, but they spin them to things that are not true. Right? They say labor rights, and these things exist. There are flaws, but have they seen the amount of work that's been done and the amount of work that's been put in place to ensure the protection of labor, all sort of labor, basically? The media doesn't want to see that, but you being here in Qatar, you'll actually see how it applies on all of us, and even with the people we work with and the contractors we have on board in projects, and we follow very strict procedures that sometimes don't exist even in the West. We do follow them, and we take it seriously. But to reach to that point is where everyone is digging back of how it used to be. But again, we're a country that's been developing, and the amount of change that happened in such short notice is just remarkable. So there's a lot of media, and then also media likes to spin things about different set of rules. When it comes to a lot of people are asking senior people from our leadership in interviews and stuff like that, can members of LGBT community hold hands in public or show any form of affection? The question is phrased wrong. No one could show any sort of public affection, whether you were gay, whether you were straight. That doesn't happen in our culture. Like even if I'm walking down the streets with my wife, my own wife, I wouldn't just pause there and like, show any affection in the streets. We don't we don't do that in our culture. These things we do in private, at our home, in front of people that we're comfortable with. But our culture doesn't show that. Our culture respects the privacy of people. Therefore, it does not allow for any showcasing of affection in public. But it's due to the culture of the people. It's not like it's due to the rules itself. This is something that is more of us culturally. We're culturally driven that way. And it's unique because every place in the world you go to, they have their own way of doing things. And that's kind of the same. But the media don't ask the question as if it was a prohibited thing to do in public for straight people. They just ask the question as if it's only related to the LGBT community. You know what I mean? But it's related to everyone. Like, I can't do that with my own wife or girlfriend. I can't do that. It's the same, but that's how the media plays on information. They choose the topic that they think might be very interesting and might piss a lot of people off, and they decide to spin the question in that way to make it feel like that we're discriminating against a group of people. But at the end of the day, we're not discriminating against everybody. We're telling everyone basically that our culture doesn't do that. So when you're here, maybe try it our way, because that's part of the experience when you go to somewhere else. Like if I want to go to Japan, I don't want to go have McDonald's. You know what I mean? I'm there to go and eat like authentic Japanese food. Not unless I was starving and the only option was McDonald's, because you can't afford with something like McDonald's, no? But it's like an example. Like I'm going to Japan, I want to do things how the Japanese people do it. So this is exactly what we were expecting and what we think people should expect when they come to Qatar. I mean, Qatar is a diverse city anyways. You're not going to be like in Qatar doing very authentic Qatari things all the time. You'll feel like there's a lot of international influence anyways. But while you are here, experience that culture, because you rarely find that blend between international and authentic Middle Eastern setup in one place, basically.
So, the sun sets on this beautiful city that is Doha. This is departure day of my trip to Qatar. And it was great. I mean, great people, great food, great experience. And I don't really like to travel that much. I'm a homebody. But I've been to a couple places, and out of all the places I've been to, I would have to say Qatar is probably my favorite place I've ever been to. I mean, from the dune buggies to riding camels to holding falcons. I got a sword. I was at the World Cup. I got a couple of sneak peeks behind the scenes with some of the creative producers and all that stuff, all that cool stuff. I hit the beach. I had a nice villa, a beautiful hotel. I mean, it doesn't really get any better than that. So, I just want to thank the people of Qatar for making my trip so great. Thank all the people who worked on the World Cup that made it spectacular. Unfortunately, Qatar's a little allergic to the goal. A little, that was a little disappointment, but it was great. The show was great. Fahad did great. JK did great. All the people behind the scenes, I want to thank Luca, Ahmed, George, Sadia, Jasim, Hussein, Mahmoud, everybody, and I had a great time. So beautiful view. Look at that. Beautiful everything. So yeah, I just want to say that. I got to give credit to some vloggers, man. I don't know how vloggers do it. It's hard to find a balance between, what to film, what to take pictures of, when to film. Sometimes, especially where I was, you weren't really allowed to film sometimes, or, it wasn't really the right time, or you're just enjoying the trip. I don't know how some vloggers do it. It was a huge challenge doing that, but hopefully, I got enough content to make it a great video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, because I'll probably be putting this at the end of the video. And hopefully I portrayed the beauty of Qatar in, the best way I could. I missed a couple things I wish I could have gotten. I wish I could have gotten some shots here and there. Wish I could have stayed a little longer. Even though I'm ready to go back, it's nice over here, but I'm ready to go back home. It's freezing over there, but so I just packed my bags, getting ready to leave. You probably see some pictures of my trip and my adventure on the Instagram. So just, if I could say anything, what would it be? I've been asking people all these questions, but question or answer I could give is just come see for yourself. Like, if you get the opportunity to come visit a country like Qatar, just go see what it's about. It's very different from the USA. I had a couple of misconceptions about Qatar and a couple of other places, but it's very different from what people expect. It's just not what people would expect. Everybody here is very welcoming. They would like to take pictures with people. They like to ask you about things, and beautiful scenery, and it's just a great country, great time. And I think everybody should come visit if you have the chance to, So I guess that would be my takeaway. Learned a couple words, learned a couple things about the culture, had my thobe, and I had a great adventure. So yeah, that's all I could really say. So I'll catch you guys in the USA, and peace.